Hello children, today we're out here in this beautiful Florida scrub habitat in search for mostly invertebrates and amphibians. I'm not really in search for anything in particular, but it would be great to find some really cool frogs and stuff out here, since we know that during the winter time the frogs get pretty active here in South Florida. So let's see what all we could find. This here making a smoother entrance than I did at the beginning of this video is a squirrel tree frog, a relatively patternless green, sometimes brown frog that I always see either in or around palm fronds. These guys are called squirrel tree frogs because the male's calls sound like a squirrel barking. This right here, the southern toad, is the most common native species of toad in Florida, outnumbered in urban areas by the non-native cane toad. These guys can be separated by their more compact appearance, more sandy or mottled coloration, and two raised crests on the top of the head. Although you could barely see it because of the perfect camouflage, there is a tiny little brown morph southern cricket frog in this frame. This tiny frog is actually a full-grown adult. This is my lifer pinewoods tree frog, an extremely variable species, ranging in coloration from this kind of gray color to a more brown color, to a kind of pinkish color, to a kind of reddish or orange color, to some even being bright green. Now you may be thinking, if it's such a variable species, how did I know that this is a pinewoods tree frog? Well, there are two main color pattern traits that hold true among all individuals of this species. First is the thin dark line that runs from the nostrils all the way down to right behind the front legs. And second is the presence of yellow spots on the back legs, which is often hidden due to the fact that these frogs rest with their legs tucked in. Hey guys, check out what I just caught here under this log. This right here is a massive Florida woods cockroach, also known by many people as a palmetto bug. These things are absolutely massive cockroaches that live in these kinds of areas with lots of palm trees and stuff. You can often find them either under dead palm fronds or under pieces of wood, like I did right here. Now these guys are pretty easily identifiable because of their wingless look and their huge size, as well as the dark reddish coloration. These guys are a Florida native species and not one I see very often, so just really cool. From far away, this insect might look like a really big carpenter bee or bumblebee, but in fact this is a fly, specifically a robber fly called a Florida bee killer, that uses its look-alike as a bee to its advantage as a hunting tactic. You can see he is eating a western honeybee right now, and the way he was able to sneak up on this bee and eat it was because it looks like another bee. Different species of bees will pollinate flowers together because they know that other bees are not after each other. But this was not just your everyday carpenter bee coming to land on a flower. This was a bee killer coming to eat the bee. This beautiful beetle is a species I don't see too often. This is the unicolored tiger beetle, which is a subspecies of the festive tiger beetle that can be found in southeastern North America, and is actually endemic to that region. This subspecies is entirely metallic blue-green in coloration, and is absolutely unmistakable, with no other species in range looking like this. These guys are pretty common in white sand scrub areas and stick out like a sore thumb against the white sand in the scrub habitats. This tiny little dung beetle, which I believe to be in the genus Melanocanthon, is the smallest dung beetle I've ever seen. Like, I had no clue they even got this tiny. It was doing the signature dung beetle move of rolling some poop up a hill, except at a much tinier scale than what I'm used to seeing. Instead of rolling a big ball of poop up a tall hill of sand, it was more like roll a tiny granule of poop up a half an inch tall bump in the sand. Watching this guy fail at its one job in life was honestly kind of weirdly cute. This is definitely one of the weirdest, most out-of-place moments I've ever come across while out in nature looking for wildlife. This is a wolf spider in the genus Geolycosa, probably the species Geolycosa mechanipi, which is a burrowing species of wolf spider that spends much of its life under or around the sand at the bottom of the ground. Basically all the pictures I could find online of these spiders either show them on the ground or tucked deep in their burrows that they build underground. What this large-sized subterranean spider was doing on top of a tall flower, and how it managed to get up the tall, thin stalk, is a mystery to me. Nonetheless, this was a lifer and probably a moment I'll never relive again. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to check out this video where I find some really weird animals in South Florida's marsh habitats.